Hello everybody, welcome to Wednesday's Thursday night quick video. So this is the Scottish Quilter. I'm Wendy, hi. I'm just on quickly to give you a cling film update or a clear wrap update. So for anyone who watched last night, I actually thought my voice was better today, but I've been talking. Anyway, on that subject, what a difference 24 hours make. I watched my video back last night and I thought, you look rough. Yeah, it looked pretty terrible. I've had a lovely day today with my friend Dawn. I went away down to get her about an hour and 20, an hour and a half south. And then we went to Stranraer, we went to a couple of shops down the street, which I'll tell you about, the garden centre, and then the reused shop where her family picked her back up before I come up the road. So I've been away all day. However, when I drive the car, I start thinking, don't I? So for everybody who watched last night, you will see that I got through and I opened up about 2 minutes before I did last night's video, my Missouri Star fusible wrap dispenser, or so I thought. But when I opened it up last night, I've got this plastic wrap, which I actually think is cling film, but I've still not opened it. Anyway, I'm going to open it because I think this is American, that just slips off, America's version of cling film. So I was in the car this morning, driving down the coast. It was a beautiful day, sun was shining. There was a few cars on the road. It was up to about 8 degrees, I think. Anyway, it is, look. So, when I'm going down the road this morning, I'm thinking to myself, what are all the uses for cling film or clear wrap? Now, at this point, I hadn't been back onto Missouri Star, so I hadn't actually looked to see what they had advertised. And what I thought I was buying, and clearly hadn't read the message on the description. However, I've read it now. And it says on it quite clearly, clear wrap, and it's for crafting. It doesn't say anything about food, although it does say food on here, for fresh keeping. Anyway, obviously it's got lots of uses. So I said to Dawn today, right Dawn, what can you use cling film for? And I said, what's all the uses you can use cling film for? So she says, well, in years gone by, if I had been dyeing my hair, and if I ever go to dye my hair again, which I won't because that's been over a year now, and you can see that it's completely white. So gone are the days of the long black hair, yeah, and this needs cut a bit, yeah, clearly. Anyway, not that I'll be dyeing my hair again. I am a bit into the purple brigade, a wee bit, but we'll see. It needs cut and then we'll see. Anyway, no permanent dyes. But in days gone by, so you would have put your dye on and then wrapped your, that's not working. That's because it's on back to front. You would have wrapped your hair in cling film to keep your dye on, right? So there is. Oh my god, if my children see this, they're like, I've lost the plot. Right, so there's one use for cling film. Right, so. But then I started thinking. So Leslie sent me a message during the night and it said, I thought she was having a laugh, but she was actually being serious. So she's been on TikTok and apparently you can get sort of transfers, wrap it in cling film, put it under a piece of like baking sheet or something, iron it on, and then take the baking sheet off and the transfer is on your t-shirt, because she'd been talking about doing this, but I still was thinking she was winding me up. So anyway, uses of cling film. So we've got wrapping your hair after your dye's on, which won't be happening. Putting transfers in t-shirts, which won't be happening. That's actually quite good quality. Remember, it used to be good quality before and then it became rubbish. Anyway, that's it's not sticky as such, but it's all right. Anyway, then I was thinking, I said to Neil, right, Neil, give me funny stories and give me something that you would use cling film for. And he said, putting over a pot of soup. And I was like, okay, putting over a pot of soup. But then I remembered some of the things that you've seen in years gone by, and the people that have wrapped a toilet in cling film. So when you go to do the toilet, you don't see the cling film and you sit down and then you end up with wet legs or worse. Anyway, there's a reason. And then I remember something from years and years and years ago. Now, you wouldn't get away with this now, but in fact, the poor boy. So in Scotland, in the farming community in Scotland, when somebody's getting married, usually the groom gets what's called is blackened, and all the groomsmen and the boys all get together, they gang up on the groom-to-be, they catch him usually at night, and they do a blackening of him. Now, that could mean that he goes into a bath full of tar, they could do things like put a grease gun in your ear and press go. They could put glue in your hair. They could gather up rotten eggs and rub it over you. But I remember about 20 years ago when I was still up in Prestwick, and I was driving along Prestwick Main Street one night, and there was obviously a boy who had been out on his stag do, which is the boys' night out before he gets married. All the boys are together. And he was up against a lamppost, wrapped in cling film. Anyway, there was one part of him that wasn't wrapped and was hanging out, and there was lots of people driving by, peeping their horns. Anyway, I can still see that to this day, that poor boy wrapped in cling film. And then I was thinking, what other funny things have happened over the years with cling film? And I thought, what about people who wrap it over a door and you go to run through it and you get stuck in the cling film when you bounce back again? And then I thought about what's the normal things you would wrap. Well, if you cut your finger, you could put a bandage on and then wrap it in cling film. That would keep it dry. Or a burn. So I think the most up-to-date protocol for a burn is running it under cold water and then wrapping it in cling film, because that keeps the moisture into the burn and doesn't lose the burn. Gone are the days that you would put oil or Vaseline or anything on it. You don't do that anymore. But wrapping it in cling film is, I think, somebody will need to confirm that, but I think is the most up-to-date protocol for a burn, a bad burn. But obviously you can use it for wrapping cold meat, wrapping cheese, wrapping your soup in a pot, or various other things. Anyway, the things that you think about when you're in the car and you're driving down the road and you think about the reasons and what you would do with cling film. So I have got one new roll of cling film, and as advertised on Missouri Star, it said clear wrap. So that's what was in this when you buy it, is clear wrap. Probably the most expensive cling film to cross the channel. No, that's the Atlantic, it's not the channel. To cross the Atlantic. However, I have my lovely box, and if I, wait a minute, I'll need my specs on. If I put you down a bit, I can't even see out of them, hold on a minute. Obviously wrapped in cling film is not good enough for them. Makes them a bit sticky. Talking about specs, I got new specs today. I don't know if I think they're in the living room. I got blue ones at the same place where I get these ones, and they're a wee bit narrower, but I'll put them on for another day when we were at the garden centre. Anyway, look at this. Look at what I've been doing. If I just, hopefully this will work and you can see what I've been up to. So, secret project. The cushion secret project is lots of cutting out. I've got all these shapes here, and I've decided to cut out 2 of each of them. So I've drawn around some of them so far on, you probably can't see that from there, you can now. I've drawn them out on this So Tight or So Light fusible. But I was having a wee practice with it, and I put in the fusible into here, which is what I thought I was buying in the first place. What does it say in the back? Oh, it just says load the refill so that it unrolls from the back. Pull gently in the slot in the lid, slide back and forward, and it's a wrap. Yeah, so it obviously is advertising the wrap. Anyway, I've now got my So Light fusible, which comes over, goes, oh, I'll just do a bigger bit since I'm drawing round as stencils, but comes on here, and look, watch this. You know, it did it so easily earlier. Have I done it the wrong way? I think I probably have. Do you know? There. How cool's that? Look. Back to the beginning, Wendy. And this has got no sharp bits on it because I've been putting my fingers on it. Anyway, look, how gently does that cut that? I am so impressed. So I've now got this to draw out all my stencils, and then I've got my lots of little bits of material. Some are going to be this colour, some are going to be this colour, some are going to be this colour. So I'm making a wee bit of headway. I still need to go on to the sewing studio and order my grunge. I've not done that, but I'll do that before bed. Even this one, now this one is actually more appropriate than you would actually think it was. Wonder if I can get more of that. Anyway, this is what I've been doing while thinking about cling film. But while we're on, let me tell you what else I got today. So, Dawn and I only see Dawn about once a month. And Dawn and I actually met when we were crocheting on the same Facebook crochet group. When would that be? Nearly 10 years ago. And we were on a group called Hooked in Sunshine. So for all you people who crochet out there, if you go into the Facebook group Hooked in Sunshine, it's a group run by a lady called Vanessa Smith, I think. Vanessa. Ness. Basically it's Ness. I think it's Smith, but I can't remember. I've not been on it for ages. Anyway, she is amazing at crochet. She designs all her own patterns. Loads and loads and loads of crochet blankets. One of these days I'll show you a load of the ones that I've done and Dawn did. Anyway, I met Dawn and Anna through being on a help group on Facebook for people who crochet all around the world. Now, Vanessa is in Cape Town, South Africa. And so obviously her time difference is different from the rest of us in the world, and from America and Australia and everywhere else. So she had people all around the world, and Anna is in Canada still. Dawn was in the south of England in Kent until she jumped to this side and is now living an hour and a half south of us and retired happily in a lovely big house and garden, just what she loves most. But anyway, we met through crochet, and it's funny how as you get older, your friends, the friends you meet now and the friends you've had, the ones that have lasted the pace and the ones that you've got are the real true friends, aren't they? Now I've got Leslie from school, who's fab, and I've got Dawn and Anna for the last 10 years nearly. And it's funny how there's a person in Canada and there's a person in south of England, and we've got the same interests. And we all crocheted lots. Anna crochets still loads. Work is beautiful. Dawn crochets and knits and sews and gardens. And all of her work is beautiful too. And it's funny how we met in that. And still to this day, we're actually really close friends and speak to each other all the time. And it's not anything to do with crochet. But anyway, Dawn. So went down, picked up Dawn, and we went to Stranraer, and we went a wee walk down the street. And we came across this shop, and she said, this shop's got lots of everything in it. So goes into the shop, won my ginger tea, and I'm feeling much better. What a difference 24 hours make. Anyway, goes into this shop, And it turns out this woman buys pallets from Amazon returns. She's opened up this shop and everything's either £1, £2, £3, £4 or £5, whatever. And the £1 ones have all got a red sticker on them, £4 ones have all got a blue sticker on them. So there was a craft area, and I've been collecting buttons because years ago I threw out all my buttons in an old tin. It was a very, very distant family member tin, but I have been wondering what to do with this tin that was my mum's, and I just brought it through from my sewing room tonight, and it's a wee Scotty Doug. Anyway, I've been thinking, what will I do with this tin? And it did have shortbread in it from years ago, but it was in my mum's house, and I thought I'm going to use it for buttons. So Dawn had picked me up some buttons in the used shop, but when we went into this place today, look, she had all these buttons in a bag, and it had a red sticker on it, and was £1. So, number one, goodbye. But then I also clocked this, because one of these days I'm going to start making rucksacks. Maybe it'll be 2027, realistically. Yeah, but so here's wee buckles and things for £1. And I also got Dawn's wee dog Dexter, because he's a wee old man now, a wee warm jacket, and it was £4. So £6 spent in that shop. It was really good. Then we went to Solburn Garden Centre, which is fab, and we got a couple of house plants in there, and I got one for Matilda, which she'll get next week, along with my twin-dawn granddaughter, as Neil calls her, or twin-dawn granddaughter. So put that in real terms, at lambing time, if you have a lamb and it needs a new mum, or if you have triplets and you take a lamb off of a ewe and leave her with two because they've got two nipples, so 2 teats to feed 2 lambs, so 3's kind of too much. So you would take a triplet off and you would put it onto a single, and you would call it a twin on. Okay, so you're twinning that lamb onto a single ewe, a single lamb with a ewe. So the aim is to have ewes with 2 lambs. Twins across the board, that's the best. Anyway, Matilda and Stuart are our very good friends, and they have a wee daughter who'll be 1 next week, and we'll see her next week. And she's like our twin-dawn granddaughter. And anyway, I can't wait to the day she shouts gran. So we're going to see her. So I was thinking about her today, because the last time I was in one of the reused shops, I got her some hardback books. There's the dishwasher on. And they were £1. So anyway, we went to Solburn, and I got Matilda a nice plant, because Matilda likes plants. So we got that, and then we went to the reused shop, and I found a few things in there that were really cool. So I picked them up too. Anyway, we've had a really nice day, and since I get back home, I was still thinking about uses for cling film. So now that I've told you all that, I can get it out of my head. And then I can get back to cutting out all these shapes. I'll cover that one up because that might give it away. Anyway, look at all these shapes. These are for the secret projects. I'm working on it. Right, okay, I'm away. Hope you'll have a lovely night, and you'll be glad to see that I'm looking much better than I did last night, and I'm feeling much better, and my glands are going down, so the next antibiotics are working. Okay, I don't think I will catch you before Wednesday, but you never know unless there's progress to show. If you get a chance, go on to Instagram. You'll see my new wee boy. He's 4 weeks now. And you will also see some of the flowers that were embroidered at the Scotland's Tapestry. So I took some pictures of them. So I have uploaded some of them on Instagram and on the Scottish Quilter website. No, I don't have a website. That's rubbish. Facebook. Instagram and Facebook, the Scottish Quilter. Okay. Cool. Right. Love you all. Bye. Have fun. use your cling film. Bye bye.